जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी सोरानंदना ब्रजनरंजना यशोदानंदना ब्रजनरंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी सोरानंदना ब्रजनरंजना यशोदानंदना ब्रजनरंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Natali Vishnu Musapadas Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami to the Prabhupada Ki Skan Samstapakacharya Divine Grace to the Prabhupada Ki Ananda Gauri Vaishnavinda Ki Sadgosami Prabhu Ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhana Ki Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavad Dham Ki Bolo Sri Sri Krishna Baldav Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the Assembly. All glories to the Assembly. All glories to the Assembly. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So we're beginning a new chapter of 10th canto today. Lord Balaram goes on pilgrimage. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 79. Lord Balaram goes on pilgrimage. So we have a nice chapter description here. This chapter describes how Lord Baladev satisfied the Brahmanas by killing Balvala, bathing at various holy pilgrimage sites, and attempted to dissuade Bhimsen and Duryodhana from fighting. At the sacrificial arena of the sages of Nayanjranya forest, a harsh wind began to blow on the new moon day, spreading the obnoxious smell of pus and obscuring everything with dust. The demon Balvala then appeared there with a trident in his hand, his massive body pitch black, and his face was very frightening. Lord Baladev caught the demon with his plow and then struck him a ferocious blow on the head with his club, killing him. The sages chanted Lord Baladev's glories and presented him with lavish gifts. Lord Balaram then began his pilgrimage, during which he visited many holy tirthas. When he heard the news of the battle between the Kurus and the Pandavas, the Lord went to Kurukshetra to try and stop the duel between Bhīma and Duryodhana, but he could not dissuade them from fighting. So deep was their enmity. Understanding that the fight was arrangement of fate, Lord Baladev left the battlefield and returned to Dwarka. Sometime later, Balaram again went to the Naimisharanya forest, where the sages performed a number of fire sacrifices on his behalf. Lord Baladev reciprocated by granting the sages transcendental knowledge and revealing to them his eternal identity. So we're going to do texts 1 through 15 today. The text number 1. śrī-śuka uvāca tataḥ upāvṛtte pracaṇḍaḥ pāṁśu-varṣaṇaḥ bhīmo vāyur rājan pūya-gandhas tu sarvaśaḥ śrī-śuka uvāca tataḥ parvaṇy upāvṛtte pracaṇḍaḥ pāṁśu-varṣaṇaḥ bhīmo vāyur abhūd pūya-gandhas tu sarvaśaḥ śrī-śuka uvāca tataḥ parvaṇy upāvṛtte pracaṇḍaḥ pāṁśu-varṣaṇaḥ bhīmo vāyur abhūd pūya-gandhas tu sarvaśaḥ Mataji's? śrī-śuka uvāca, Śukadeva Gosvāmī said, tataḥ, then, parvaṇy, the new moon, upāvṛtte, when it came, pracaṇḍaḥ, fierce, pāṁśu, dust, varṣaṇaḥ, raining, bhīmo, frightening. Oh, I always wondered what bhīmo meant, huh? Vāyur, a wind, abhūd, a rose, rājan, O King Parikshit, pūya, of pus, gandha, the smell, tu, and sarvaśaḥ, all over. Translation. Śukadeva Gosvāmī said, then on the new moon day, O king, a fierce and frightening wind arose, scattering dust all about and spreading the smell of pus everywhere. So we're going to go through many, many verses, so we'll just sing our Mangalacharan and then we can make comments here and there. Om ajnana-timirandasya yajña-śālāyāṁ chakṣurunmilitam Deena tasmai śrī-gurave namah śrī-chaitanya-manobhistam sthapitam Deena bhūtale swayam rupa kadamayam dadati svaparantikam adadanaśķanandandai vridam yache puna puna Srimad Rupa Padambujo Dulisyam Janma Janmani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Panchakalpatrubhyascha kripa-sindhuveva patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. This is actually the time of the year when this happens, huh? April means that it starts to get hot and hot and hot, and then all of a sudden you see in the western horizon all these black clouds are there. Huh? And you see lots of dust being drawn up by those clouds, and you see lightning. You can't hear the thunder, you see lightning. Then gradually the horizon gets closer and closer and closer, and then suddenly, bam, there's just dust everywhere in your eyes, between your teeth. This is that time of year. Just experiencing this just a couple of days ago. Huh? So the sages, they've asked Balaram, you take care of this demon Balvala. So this is his introduction. That fierce and frightening wind arose, scattering dust all about and spreading the smell of pus everywhere. Tato medhya-mayaṁ varṣaṁ balvalena vinirmitam abhavad yajña-śālāyāṁ sonvadristyata śūla-dhṛk. Next, onto the sacrificial arena came a downpour of abominable things sent by Balvala, after which the demon himself appeared, trident in his hand. Text 3 and 4. Tambilokya bṛhat-kāyaṁ bhinnāñjana-cayopamam tapta-tāmra-śikhā-śmaśruṁ daṁṣṭrogra-bhru-kuṭī-mukham samara-mushalam rama para-sainya-vidāraṇam kalam ca daitya-damanaṁ te turnam tato. The immense demon resembled a mass of black carbon His topknot and beard were like molten copper, and his face had horrible fangs and furrowed eyebrows. Upon seeing him, Lord Balaram thought of his club, which tears to pieces his enemies' armies, and his plow weapon, which punishes the demons. Thus summoned, his two weapons appeared before him at once. So here it says mushal, because sometimes we see Lord Balaram, he also knows gada, this like a Hanuman club. But Balaram's actual weapon, especially in Braj, is a mushal. Now, English is very good for modern technology, but for transcendental tech is useless. So we just translated as club, but actually mushal is it's a wooden instrument. It's like, it's sort of shaped like a pregnant baseball bat with a little space toward the end of it where you can put your hand, and then you put the rice in a depression in the ground and bam, 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 bam. You break, because the rice has got some husk on it. And we have to get off that husk, because that husk is useless. Useless means anart. Useless means anart. So this is Balaram's duty, and this is because he's the Adi Guru, he's the original spiritual master. So his duty is to get rid of our anarts, all the useless things. We want the rice grain itself, that's what's useful for us. That's art. But this is anart, this husk. So Balaram's actual, sometimes you see, today he's got his plow, his hal, therefore today he's Halavar Dauji. But sometimes we see Musaldhara Dauji, he's got this beautiful golden mushal. So everywhere in Braj you'll see, instead of this Hanuman club, you see this mushal that Lord Baladev is carrying, because his business is to get rid of our anarts, so that we can advance in Krishna consciousness. So he called his two weapons, which appeared immediately before him. Text number 5. Tamakrishya halage grena balvalam gagane charam musalina banat krudo murdni brahmadruham bala. With the tip of his plow, Lord Balaram caught hold of the demon Balvala as he flew through the sky. And then with his club, the Lord angrily struck the harasser of brahmanas on the head. So you can just imagine a scene. Lord Bala took this hal, his plow, and he captured that demon with his plow. And just pulled him with that plow. And then with his mushal, bam, he smashed him on the head. Harasser of brahmanas. This was Brahmadruham. He was always harassing the brahmanas. So text number 6. Sopatadbhu vinirmitam lalato srik samutsrijam muncham arta swaram bhakshailo yathavajrahatorn runa. Balvala cried out in agony and fell on the ground, his forehead cracked open and gushing blood. He resembled a red mountain struck by a lightning bolt. There's a small little purport here. According to the Acharyas, the demon appeared reddish with blood, like a mountain red with oxide. So you can just imagine a scene. Balaram smashed him on the head with his mushal, and just cracked open his head, and you know any cut you get on the head, you can just imagine Balaram smashed him with his mushal. Even a little cut, so much blood comes out if you get a cut on the head. So his whole half of his body is red, so he's appearing just like a mountain with red oxide. Our acharyas described just like red oxide. Balaram's pastime is so exciting, huh? Go to text number 7. Samstutya munayo raman prayuj yatu vitasha shishaha abhyasincham mahabhaga vritta gnam vibhuda yata. The exalted sages honored Lord Ram with sincere prayers and awarded him infallible blessings. Then they performed his ritual bath, just as the demigods had formerly bathed Indra when he killed Vritra. So all the sages were very, very happy. Now, Balaram had asked them what favor he could do for them, and it was to get rid of this balvala. So now he smashed him. All the sages are very happy. We can imagine them all, sadhu, 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 and they performed they gave him all their blessings, as if they could bless Lord Balaram. But anyway, these are the pastimes of the Lord. He likes to take a position subordinate to his devotees. So they gave him so many blessings, and then they bathed him. He said, just like Indra, he killed that Vritrasura, then all the demigods had performed some special bathing ceremony. So for Lord Balaram, they performed this wonderful bathing ceremony. Text number 8. Vajayantim dadurmalan sridamalana pankajam Ramaya vasasi dristye divye divyanya parananicha. They gave Lord Balaram a Vajayanti garland of unfading lotuses, in which resided the goddess of fortune, and they also gave him a set of divine garments and jewelry. So the sages, they gave him a beautiful Vajayanti garland made with lotuses, but those lotuses never fade. Especially this time of year, we see we give the Lord these nice garlands, but after a while they all begin to wither away. But here the sages, they gave him unfading pankaja. Pankaja means lotus, because pank, of course nowadays pank has a different meaning, but in Sanskrit, pank means mud. And ja, just like in a couple more months we'll celebrate Janmashtami. Ja means who's born. Who's born in the mud, that is the lotus. Wherever there's nice muddy water, then the lotuses grow, and he's born from pankaja, he's born from the mud, although he's totally untouched. So they gave him an unfading garland of lotuses, in a very special arrangement called Vajayanti. Text number 9. Atattai abhyanu gyata koshikam etya brahmanai snatva sarovaram ragad yatas sarayur asravat. Then, given leave by the sages, Lord went with a contingent of brahmanas to the Kosiki river, where he bathed. From there he went to the lake from which flows the river Sarayu. So now Balaram, he done his favor for the sages, so he, on their advice that you to go on pilgrimage he took some of the sages with him. He went to the Kosiki River. Kosiki River is very interesting. Because there was one, because Kosiki, she's actually the sister of Viswamitra. And one time, there was one sage, she was married to a sage named Richika. And Richika, one time, he was very powerful, so he went up to the Devalok to see Lord Brahma. And Kosiki, she was feeling so much separation from her husband that by her chastity, she also followed him to Devalok. And then because without his permission she had come, he became very angry and cursed her to become a river. So this is the Kosiki River. And then he went from there to the lake where the Sarayu begins. Sarayu, we know, of course, is connected with Lord Ram. This river flows in past Ayodhya. So this river is always connected with Lord Ram. The text number 10. Anusrutena sarayum prayagam upagamyasa snatva santarpya devadin jagama pula ashramam. Lord followed the course of the Sarayu until he came to Prayag, where he bathed and then performed rituals to propitiate the demigods and other living beings. Next he went to the ashram of Pulaha Rishi. So from Sarayu, then Lord came to Prayag, where we just had Kumbh Mela. And it was a most amazing scene. What did they finally say? 650 million people came or something like that? So many millions of people came. We think we were distributing 1 lakh of plates of prasadam every day, but when there's millions and millions of people, that was just a speck actually. But anyway, we had a wonderful camp there and distributing so much prasad to all the people, and everywhere else they were calling and calling for people to come take prasad, but everybody knows ISKCON prasad is very nice, so we didn't have to call, people just automatically were flocking. Of course we know this is where the Ganga and Jamuna and Saraswati join together. Of course we don't see the Saraswati nowadays, but still it's the most amazing scene. You can't imagine. This huge Ganga is coming. And there's also huge Jamuna is coming. Ganga is coming very golden complexion. And Jamuna is coming from a very deep complexion. I was just reading that in, was it Bhamana Puran? It describes how Jamuna became dark. Because we remember one time, Sati, she went to Daksha's yajña, but there her husband was disrespected, so she gave up her life and just self-immolated herself, just began to burn from yogi power. So Lord Shiva, he went berserk. And while he was berserk, in Bhamana Purana describes that Kamdev shot him with his flower arrows. And he went even more berserk. And he was just completely hot and bothered. So he jumped into the Kalindi. And so at that time, the waters of the Kalindi became blackish. So this is how, I was just reading, this is how the Jamuna became very dark color. So anyway, you see, because Ganga is coming very golden color, Jamuna is coming very deep blue color, and then in the Sangam you can actually see them mixing. And then they form a gigantic river. There's two huge rivers coming, and another gigantic river that we call it Triveni. There's three. It's just an amazing scene. The energy there is just so amazing. These two gigantic rivers merging and forming a monster river going off to eventually to the Bay of Bengal. Of course, we know this is a very special place for performing yajñas. So Balaram, he also went there to Prayag. And then he visited Pulaha Rishi. I don't know much about Pulaha Rishi. He's always, every once in a while he's mentioned. He's actually a son of Lord Brahma, but I don't know much about him. So then we got texts 11 to 15. Gomatim gandakim snatva vipasan sona apluta gayam gatva pitrin istva ganga sagara sangame upāvṛtte mahindrado ramam dristva vivajya sapta godavarim venam pampam bhīmo ratimrata skandam dristva yayo rama śrī-śuka giri-śālāyāṁ dravideshu mahapunyam dristva drimbenukata Prabhu kamakoshnim purim kanchim kaverim cha bṛhatam śrī-rangakyam mahapunyam yatra sanihito hari vishabhadram hare kshetram dakshinam maturam tata samudram setum agamat mahapataka-naṣanam. Lord Balaram bathed in the Gomti River, Gomti, Gandaki, and Vipasha rivers, and also immersed himself in the Sona. He went to Gaya, where he worshipped his forefathers, and to the mouth of the Ganga, where he performed purifying ablutions. At Mount Mahendra, he saw Lord Parasuram and offered him prayers. And then he bathed in the 7 branches of the Godavari River, and also in the rivers Vena, Pampa, and Bhimarati. Then Lord Balaram met Lord Skanda and visited Sri Shaila, the abode of Lord Girisha. In the southern provinces known as Dravida Desh, the Supreme Lord saw the sacred Venkata hill, as well as the cities of Kamakoshni and Kanchi, the exalted Kaveri River, and the most holy Sri Ranga, where Lord Krishna has manifested himself. From there he went to Rishabh mountain, where Lord Krishna also lives, and to the southern Mathura. Then he came to Setubandha, where the most grievous sins are destroyed. Purport. Usually one goes to Gaya to worship deceased forefathers, but as Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explains, although Lord Balaram's father and grandfather were still alive, it was on his father's order that he carefully worshipped his forefathers at Gaya. Drawing insight from Vaishnava Tosani, the Acharya further explains that although Lord Balaram was in the immediate proximity of Jagannath Puri, he did not go there since he wanted to avoid the embarrassment of having to worship himself along with the forms of Sri Krishna and Subhadra, Balabhadra and Subhadra. So Lord Balaram, he was on... Anyway, this is all amazing. Sometimes people like to discuss why Prabhupada established this Krishna Balaram Mandir. But I believe it was His Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj, he said one time, because actually we see most of 10th canto, it's all about, in fact, there's 90, we're going to see there's 90 chapters here. No other canto has so many chapters. And all of it, 90% of it is just Balaram and Krishna's pastimes. So that's why Prabhupada, of course we know that Prabhupada's expressed desire was that people understand that Brajendra Nandana say, Sati Sutta Hoilo Jai, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. That people understand that this Gaur Nitai, they're non-different from Krishna and Balaram. Anyway, here's another interesting bichar, what do you say? Conjecture that His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj, that most of Bhagavatam is all about Krishna and Balaram. So anyway, he's visiting so many rivers, Gomti, Gandaki, we know Gomti eventually comes to Dwarka. And it's very interesting because it's emptying into the ocean, and sometimes you'll see, sometimes the tide is coming in and then these big waves form. It's a lot of fun to bathe there. These big waves are coming because the tide is coming in, the water's trying to come out, and big waves. It's a very nice place. And of course, Gandaki, we know, this is where all the shalagrams appear. Gandaki was actually formed, we were just talking about Lord Shiva again, this is a connection with Lord Shiva, that when he saw the, he wanted to get darshan of the Mohini Murti, who had bewildered all the demigods. So when he saw the Mohini Murti, he became all hot and bothered, so he began to sweat. So that sweat formed the Gandaki River. Of course, we know this is where all the Shalagram Shilas come from. Just like not very long off, I guess May 11th or 12th is the Purnima where Sri Radha Raman Lalji appeared, because our Gopal Bhatta Goswami had gone on pilgrimage to Gandaki, and he wanted to take bath there, and he put his lota into the water. When he pulled it out, there was some shalagram shilas. He just dipped it in the top of the water, but somehow some shalagram shilas had come in his lota. So he dumped them out, scooped up water again. Again, shalagram shilas were there. And again dumped out. Third time, he's from the top. He wasn't going to the bottom, but from the top. And then there was 12 shalagram shilas in his water pot. So third time he thought this is something special. So he kept all those shilas and brought them back here to Vrindavan. And he just had a little bag that he was keeping underneath, hanging in a tree. They have a nice, just outside of Radharaman temple, they have that place where they say that's where he was hanging the Shalagram Shilas. And on the Shri Chadurdasi, some businessman came, he was giving crowns and dresses and so many nice jewelry and nice things for all the Goswami's deities. And he came to Gopal Bhatt. He said, I just have these shalagram, I don't need any dresses or things like this, And he felt bad. So he began, in the evening of Nrsimha Chaturdasi, he was reading all about the pastimes of Lord Nrsimhadev. And then finally he prayed to the Lord that you also please protect me, just like you've protected your devotee Prahlad coming from a stone, so somehow or other you please protect me. And in the morning, when he opened up his bag to worship his shalagrams, he saw that that one Damodar Shila had manifested as Radha Raman Lalji. So that's how Radha Raman Lalji appeared. And he's one of the original deities of Vrindavan who's still here. We know Gopinath and Damodar and everyone has gone to different places. Madan Mohan eventually came to Karoli. But the Goswamis explained to me that they, because they were all taken, Govindadev and everyone was taken by the kings. So after the danger was over, they wanted to bring him back, and the king said, well, he's a guest, my guest. How can I kick my guest out of my house? When he wants to go, he'll go. But they didn't take shelter of any king. They just took their deity and they worshipped him. And when the danger was over, they returned. So Radharaman is one of the original deities here in Vrindavan. And he self-manifests from Shalagram Shila, from the Gandaki river. Ipasa, I don't know anything about. Shona, I don't know anything about. Then he went to Gaya. We know Gaya is famous for Lord Vishnu's footprint, where everybody goes and performs pindadan for the benefit of their forefathers. So here Biswanath Chakravarti describes that actually Balaram's father and grandfather were still alive, but on their order he performed worship for the previous ancestors. It's very interesting. And then he went to the mouth of the Ganga. This is a very interesting place. We went there one time to collect the waters for the 108 sacred tirthas, water for Prabhupada's centennial. And it's a very amazing place. You see in front of you this huge wall of ice. There's a glacier coming down. It's hundreds of meters thick, and it's just coming there. It's beginning to melt, and you can see the water's flowing out from underneath the glacier. And every once in a while, a piece of ice breaks off. It's a very amazing place, and the water's freezing cold. We jumped in and jumped out, and then the Padayatra photographer came. He wanted to get a picture, so we had to jump in again. So this is a very special place, Gomukh, where the Ganga appears. Very special place. And they went to the Godavari River. Of course, the Godavari, we know that's where Roy Ramanand Sambad, where Lord Chaitanya answered all the, or rather he asked so many questions to Ramananda Roy on the bank of the Godavari. And he went to the river Vena, Pampa, Bhimarati. Then he met Lord Skanda, and he visited Sri Shaila, the abode of Lord Girish, Lord Shiva. Then he went to Venkata Hill. Of course, we know this is Tirupati. It's even Balaram's time it was there, a special place. As well as Kamakoshni and Kanchi. We know there's two Kanchis, Vishnu Kanchi and Shiva Kanchi. Very beautiful deities are there. What is the deity's name? Bharadvaj, yeah. Bharata. And then he came to the Kaveri River. And Kaveri, we know, is very famous because next he says, and the most holy Sri Rangam. We know Kaveri River, it splits in two and forms a large island. And then the island is the largest functioning Vedic temple in the world. Of course, was that place in Cambodia? Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat is much bigger, but it's not functioning temple anymore. So this is the biggest functioning temple. It's right, the Kaveri River. It's surrounded by the Kaveri River. Right in the middle, this huge 7 gates are there, 7 walls all around this place, this beautiful deity. This deity. Well, first of all, the Kaveri River. One time, Agastya Rishi, he also went to Kailash, and he was worshipping Lord Shiva. At that time, the Kaveri River was also personified, was there worshipping Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva, he filled, because Agastya wanted to have water in his ashram. So Lord Shiva filled his pot with water from Kaveri. So when he went back to South India, he sat in meditation, and Indra told, on the instruction of Lord Indra, Ganpati took the form of a crow. He sat on the edge of his pot, and the pot tipped over, and then the Kaveri River began to flow from there. So anyway, this wonderful deity, here it says, actually it says here, he saw Krishna. Because many people think it's Lord Vishnu, but I've been there, he only has 2 arms. So this beautiful deity was somehow appeared to Lord Brahma. He gave it to Lord Ram, and Ram gave it to Bibhishan, with the instruction that you can't put him down anywhere, otherwise he won't move from that place. But Bibhishan was going back down to Lanka. He saw this beautiful place where the Kaveri River is split into, made this beautiful island, with so many beautiful palm trees and everything, so much greenery. So he stopped to take his bath, and he put the deity down because he'd forgotten that he was just so excited seeing this beautiful place, he'd forgot about the instruction. So then the Lord refused to move from that place. It was a very beautiful place, right in the middle of the river. But just to satisfy his devotee, he's facing south. We see most Indian temples are all facing east, but in this temple, the Lord is lying. He's facing south. Like this is south over here. And we went there, and the descendant of Venkata Bhatta is there. His name is Murlidhar Bhatta. Or Murli Bhatta. And that place is interesting because right across the street from Venkata Bhatta's house is the Jagannath temple where Lord Chaitanya was worshipping. And the pujari there, his name is Murlidhar. The descendant of Venkata Bhatta is Murli Bhatta, and his name is Murlidhar, who's worshipping those very interesting Jagannath deities with hands. These were worshipped, they say carved by Lord Chaitanya. And he was worshipping there. You see Balaram and Krishna both with hands, very beautiful. And Murli Bhatta was so excited to see us. He was feeling that whenever somebody from ISKCON comes, I feel like, family has come. And and of course that house has been totally remodeled, but he showed us, this is the place where Lord Chaitanya stayed. And he said, actually, Ranganath, he's actually Krishna. He's got 2 arms, because we're the pujaris, we can go there and see, He has 2 arms, and we can see on his belly, there's a mark where Yasoda bound him with ropes. He said, we're Sri Vaishnavas, but we're Gaudiya Sri Vaishnavas. He told me like that. He was very, very friendly to us. He was very happy to be came. So he's facing south. I don't get down to south very much. Krishna hardly lets me get out of Vrindavan. He said, what will you see there? One place I'm facing south, one place I'm facing east, another place, you have to make an appointment and meet me in the office and give some money. Here, and you go, in the south you go, there's just a very narrow place where you get darshan and they push you away. Somehow or other, when we went to, what was it? Tirupati. The brother of the mayor took us there. We were having a ICC meeting there or something. So the brother of the mayor, he's a very nice devotee. Hari something. Anyway, he took us there. So everybody else, you come up, you take darshan for 2 seconds, and not even 2 seconds, boom, they push you away. Because we came with the brother of the mayor, instead of pushing us away from the Lord, they pushed me toward the Lord. And I was taking darshan, and I was thinking, well, I shouldn't be greedy. So I tried to move away. Again, they pushed me toward the Lord. And then I shouldn't be greedy. And then the third time, they pushed me toward the Lord. Then finally, they... I remember one Russian devotee came, and he was a big Russian, you know, so he just planted himself like this. Pujaris are very tricky. They went like this, he turned, and they pushed him. So I thought it was amazing. Instead of being pushed away from the Lord, I was pushed toward, 3 times pushed toward the Lord. The most holy Sri Ranga, where Lord Krishna has manifested himself. There he went to Rishabh mountain, where Lord Krishna also lives, and to the southern Mathura. This is called Madurai. I remember 50 years ago when I first came to Vrindavan, people hardly knew, you know. You said Mathura. He said, oh, you mean Madurai? I said, no, I mean Mathura. What's Mathura? You know? Or if you said the word Vrindavan, they said, oh, you mean Vrindavan Gardens in Mysore? I said, no. Nobody knew what was Vrindavan. If you said Vrindavan, they thought, oh, you mean Vrindavan Gardens in Mysore. I said, no, Vrindavan, next to Mathura. Madurai? No, Mathura. So now we see Prabhupada has put Vrindavan on the map. Now we're simply amazed that, it's like several times I said, that when we opened up this temple, the villagers, they told Prabhupada, why did you make your temple so far away? Who's going to go there? And now you see in Mangalarti, 4:30 in the morning, you can't find a place to stand even in the courtyard. Now Vrindavan has become famous by Prabhupada's mercy. So anyway, Lord Chaitanya went to the southern Mathura, Madurai. I believe we also have a Krishna Balaram Mandir there, I think. Anybody's been to Madurai, I think? Madurai, huh? Anyway, I was going to tell we have Krishna Balaram there. Acha. Then he came to Setubandha, where the most grievous sins are destroyed. This is the one place I haven't been. This is where Setu, of course, means bridge. So this is where the bridge was built across the ocean to Lanka for Lord Ram to pass over. So anyway, we're hearing all these wonderful pastimes of Balaram. So oh my goodness, I thought that I was looking at it wrong. So anyway, we tried to share a few things with you about these verses. If anybody has any questions or something else to add, we can take a few minutes to discuss. Okay, Jigyasu, our wonderful temple president.
We always see Krishna and Balaram together. It seems like towards the end they had their own program happening. How do they separate from one another?
Well, Krishna didn't want. He had Balaram. He had, friends on both sides of the great wars. And like it says here, he couldn't convince them not to fight, and he didn't want to take part in it. And because now he's taken the position of the older brother, because when he was the younger brother, in Ram Leela, he was Lakshman, the younger brother. And he became so angry when Dasaratha told him to go to the forest, and he was just, and runs, oh, we should follow whatever our father says. Anyway, he had so many bad experiences, always have to follow what the elder brother said. So next time he came as the older brother. So he didn't, Krishna couldn't keep him to stay, he couldn't make him stay. He said, nope, I'm going on pilgrimage. So he left on pilgrimage, so he had all these pastimes a little bit separately. But just like there's one bird here called saras, you see the very gray, big gray, tall, they're one of the tallest, I think they're the biggest bird in Asia, flying bird in Asia. And they have a big red dot on the head, they're very tall. And they're called saras. And you'll never see one saras. Either 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, you always see them together, you never see them separately. So in Nandagam there used to be one kund, now it's turned into a wheat field. But that kund was called Sarsi Kund. Because Mother Yasoda, she saw Krishna and Balaram and said, these two little boys, they're never separated. They're just like Saras. So they're Sarsi twins. So that kund became known as Sarsi Kund. Although you can't find it anymore, but it's somewhere there. So it's true, in the beginning they were always together. Now after this, they sort of separated, but Balaram, he didn't have to follow Krishna's order anymore because now he's the older brother. Any other questions, comments? Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you for sharing. For, let's say, younger devotees, maybe brahmacharis, is it recommended to go on holy pilgrimage, or is there a certain phase in our life where it's recommended?
It's always recommended to visit holy places, just like one time they told Prabhupada it's costing us almost $500,000 for everybody to come to the Mayapur Vrindavan festival. In the old days it was Mayapur Vrindavan festival. And Prabhupada said, yes, it costs so much to eat, so maybe you should stop eating also. So he put coming on pilgrimage to Vrindavan and Mayapur on level of eating. So eating we have to do every day, that's recommended.
These
of
places.
course, especially we see that according to the old varnashram system, that the vanapras, they're meant to travel to different holy places, as long as their body holds out before they just settle down somewhere to leave.
Is it considered preaching when we go to these places?
Yeah, because just by seeing the devotees, people remember Krishna. And this is just like, now the biggest worry that the younger generation has is, does my phone have charge? Does my phone have charge? So we have to come here and get our batteries charged up to go back and preach. That was why Prabhupada wanted, he had this, now it's become, Mayapur festival become separate, and now we have our Kartik festival for Vrindavan. But we come to get our batteries charged so we can go back and preach again. There's like one time, in old days, very old days, devotees found out, Devi Shakti told us this story because she was there at the time. She was the one who asked Prabhupada. Because they found out that at that time, land was very cheap. I can remember when people used to give land away like it was water. Now they shoot each other over land. But when I, 50 years ago, people gave away land like water. And so they found out that land in Radhakund was very cheap, so they said, maybe we should make a center there. And so they presented the idea to Prabhupada, said, yes. He said, what will you do there? And Devi Shakti said, well, Prabhupada will preach. And Prabhupada leaned back, and with a big smile. He said, Radhakund is not for preaching. Radhakund is for relishing. So sometimes we have to relish a little bit so we get our batteries charged to go back and preach. So coming on pilgrimage is also preaching, because it's helping you get enlivened to go and preach. You're from?
America, coming from America.
The ancestry?
My parents are of Chinese heritage.
Chinese, okay. All right. So anyway, by seeing, especially just by seeing us, people, this is also preaching. People come here. In the old days, this was called, nobody said ISKCON, everybody said Angrej. Technically, Angrej meant British, but it just meant, but in the villagers' mind, anybody who was white was Angrej. So this was Angrej temple. Just by seeing us, it's preaching. People are seeing, just see these people have taken up Krishna consciousness. That was Prabhupada's idea, that everybody's imitating the West, so if I take Krishna consciousness there, they'll have to imitate that also. And we see all over the world, people went to, Australia, America, England, all these places, looking for wealth, but when they got the wealth, they realized it's nothing. And then suddenly they ran into the devotees on the street and they realized they left the real wealth behind. If you come here in December, which is Christmas time, then you'll find that 70% of the guest house is all NRIs. People came in contact with, people from Bharat came in contact with Prabhupada's movement, then they read Bhagavad Gita, they realized they left the best thing behind, and now the only time they have free is Christmas time, so it's all, 70% is all NRIs coming. Prabhupada changed the whole face of everything. So just by seeing you, just by being here, you're preaching. So anyway, it's past 9, so we'll fall down to the very soft and wonderful lotus feet of the great personality who's given us these wonderful places, Mayapur and Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada ki.